Michelle Obama was born on January 17, 1964. Nowadays, she is an American lawyer and writer who was First Lady of the United States from 2009 until 2017. She is married to Barack Obama and is the first African American First Lady. Was raised on South Sea of Chicago, Illinois. Then she met her husband in her legal career working at the law firm Sidley Austin. They married in 1992 and they currently have 2 daughters. She spoke at the Democratic National Convention in 2008, 2012, and 2016 in Philadelphia, where she gave an important speech in support of the Democratic presidential nominee and fellow, First Lady Hillary Clinton. As First Lady, Obama became a role model for women and advocate for poverty awareness, education, nutrition, physical activity, and healthy eating.
Before analyzing both speeches, we first have to jump back in the past to understand Melania Neves, or as we all know her, Melania Trump, and the story she carries with her. The current First Lady of the United States of America was born on April 26 in 1970 in Novo Mesto, Slovenia, which was part of the communist Yugoslavia. Her mother was a children's clothes designer and her father was a car catcher and dealer. Growing older, Melania began modeling at the age of 16 and had therefore an extraordinary opportunity for a model agency in Milan. Maybe around 12 years later, she first met Donald Trump in a New York fashion party. She first refused to go out with Mr. Trump. However, they engaged in 2004. In 2016, Melania got the First Lady of the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Until now, Melania Trump seems to be very unprepared for the position of being the First Lady. It may be too early for exhaustive assessment, but she was and still is grappling with her duties.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. You work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
Now we're going to show the close analysis.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
By making a closer examination of their terminology, we mark interesting differences. It looks like Melania Trump uses more comfortable passages in English to talk and understand, and also a more productive vocabulary. Michelle Obama tends to use a more articulated sentences. And in general, her speech seems to target audience with a higher level of education, and this is also reflected in longer sentences. We are going to discuss these terms later on. However, we apparently outsource a plagiarize part right at the beginning. In our case, there is 1 in 1 trillion chance that a 16-word phrase mentions another phrase of the exact equal length and vocabulary just by coincidence. Therefore, the possibility of poor coincidence decreases only by the order of magnitude.
The order of magnitude of a number is the smallest power of 10, used to represent that number. For example, the possibility of the speech being copied is 1 to 1 trillion, which the order of magnitude is 10 to the power of 18.
Let's first establish an evident fact from the outset. Compared to Miss Obama, the speech held by Melania Trump at the Republican National Convention would quickly have been flagged for plagiarism in any college level. Meredith M. Lever, one of the speechwriters in the Trump campaign, has since come forward to accept such clear plagiarism. Still, the question of who wrote this speech remains. Nevertheless, the words in question, the statement, was plagiarized. 1 week after such a justified accusation, Christy Fox, one speechwriter assistant, demands on just 7% plagiarized all over the entire speech, despite 7% copied out of our section with 108 words, whereby 61 words were the exact same. So we concluded 55% plagiarized just in one small part of the speech. Let's grant that 93% were self-made. We forgot about the context. Melania Trump intended to sympathize the Trump family and even more to help Donald Trump to win the presidential candidature and not just to hold a real school or college speech in any classroom. That makes the instance even more significant. Just to make it clear, an ordinary college student with only 7% plagiarized would obtain a poor grade in any college. Moreover, since the US stands for education, in matter of political points, such 7% is misplaced and created a pretty big deal with significant influence. In the same paragraph, an evident proverb can be seen. Your word is your bond, a phrase originally created from the hip-hop story of the black community, or also called Black American, in the 19th century. So when Michelle Obama used this term, she was both retrieving a very powerful say for ethical reasons and also significancy to the black community and their listeners. In consequence of using the same term as Michelle Obama once did, Melania Trump shows her clueless, and out of her perspective there cannot be made any real sense of what she is talking about. Also, in the same sentence, she repeated the significance of keeping a promise twice. Once in your word is your bond, which means to keep your promise always, and afterwards again by stating keep your promise at the end of the same sentence. This shows again her clueless about those words and give us the sense of a clear plagiarism.
That you treat people with dignity and respect even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They thought and showed me values and morals in their daily life.
Well, so as you can see in this specific part of the speech, Michelle Obama talks more in general about the two things she mentioned, dignity and respect. But on the other side, Melania Trump only mentions respect, and she talks more about her family, about how they educated her, and she's talking instead as general as did Michelle Obama.
Once again, Melania Trump seems to plagiarize most of this part. However, in this specific case, she changes dignity and respect to only respect. What Melania probably didn't know about those small but very powerful words. In the Charter of the Fundamental Rights of the European Union, the right first article states the importance of dignity of every single human being and how those rights must be protected and respected. Hereby, once again, a strong message of bounding together is observable, to conduct and not to harm any other.
That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Both Michelle and Melania appear to have identical hope for their future generations, namely that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them. Both families also appear to share similar moral values with the idea you work hard for what you want in life, being entirely identical life advice passed on to both women. Additionally, Mrs. Obama noted in 2008 that she finds joy in seeing her mother integrate her compassion and her intelligence reflected in her own daughter, something that is transparent on Mrs. Trump as well as her parents integrated compassion and intelligence reflected on this day on her.
Did Melania Trump trumped by plagiarism? Melania Trump trumped by plagiarism? Well, right after the Republican National Convention, her live statement explained that she wrote the speech by herself, but with as little help as possible. Still, in our personal opinion, Michael and me, we believe that she did not put as much effort in as Michelle Obama once before did. She most likely just left the speechwriter to write her speech interlay, and out of her perspective, it seemed to be very emotionless and all studied by memory. Michelle sat down with her speechwriter, explaining and changing parts around, concluding. It seems that Melania Trump didn't worry that much about such a famous speech. However, we believe she was trumped to 100% by plagiarism. What would be if Melania Trump wrote this speech without any plagiarism?
Let's turn everything around and start to believe that Melania Trump wrote this fantastic speech all by herself without any plagiarism. In this way, Melania would have delivered a remarkable speech, something nobody would have ever expected from her. Out of this constant, it's even more miserable because it would have been a story to remember of how incredible well she did, because her life story is so different. And the US population would also be very proud to have such an awesome new First Lady. Instead, her story will be remembered how she was trumped, and a dark image and shadow will be behind her forever.
Any questions?